an expert engineer to come and give you what they gave the council members, the numbers of their findings. That's what we're doing. So we're not addressing any rumors, none of that. This is about numbers. So you'll understand what we're getting on Wednesdays. So if you didn't know what was going on, well, the numbers, now some of them that's fussing, since I'm being recorded, the same ones that's fussing was the ones that said no to City Hall. What you mean, council member? When the former city manager was saying we need to put $30 million into City Hall to fix it, they said no. Wow. It's on video. Wow. I didn't believe it until I saw the video either. I said, surely you can't be saying City Hall when you were just saying no to City Hall. What's the former city manager name? Mr. Broadnax. I saw a video where he asked us, we need $30 million to fix City Hall, or to at least start kind of addressing some issue. And they said, no, it's self-serving. We need to get it to the streets and sidewalks, and I think it came to some idea, some of the council members got some of the money.
No. All the council members, I'm Lori Blair.
I asked her to come because she had some history.
I'm Lori Blair. I am City Council District 8. When we had the 2024 bond package discussion, I was on the economic development where we set aside in our small committee, $26 million for the repair of City Hall. That would have been almost a $30 million that was needed. When it got to the overall committee, they reduced that number and changed the numbers around from 26 million down to 19 million. Wow. When it got to city council, and this is on recording, the decision was made that the $19 million for to repair City Hall was redirected to where each council member got $1 million for discretionary money, wow, and the mayor got $5 million. Wow. So that was, and the repairs, the total repairs of City Hall, it's not in our, we have different funds. We have the general fund and we have the bond fund. The general fund is things that, well, the general fund is not what's going to repair City Hall. It would be done out of the bond package. If you got the bond package in 2024 at 19 million, the bond would not have matured until 2027 at the earliest for the money to become available. So even if we had given the $19 million, the money was not immediately available for the city to spend. So, and then when the 19 million, so now we either need another bond package at $1 billion. Now, make sure you understand when we get the bond package, it's just a loan. It's not money. And hi, Mr. Lewis, how are you? You want to help us talk about bonds? It is not. A bond is not money, and it's not money that like a grant. Right. It sounds like a grant that is money that is given, but it's not.
I get a question on the bond. We talk about bonds all the time. We vote for bonds only due to the fact of what we're talking about using that money for. But as you said, that's just like us going down to the bank
and getting a loan
and putting a certificate in there, or putting a dollar amount in there for that certificate to mature over the years.
Right.
But when you're talking about bond money, and even talking about voting on another bond package, right now, I don't think the economy in the banks and all these individuals that will take that bond, that we're going to even get the full amount for the bond, because the economy is not all that great right now.
And you're right, the bonds are tied to the economy, and the better the economy, the more money you can get on the bond. But you don't know, but here's the reality. The reality is, when the 2020 and 2024, $19 million from the Economic Development Committee asked the city, made the recommendation that City Council put aside $19 million in a bond in order to do repairs and maintenance on City Hall. The council members took that money and and $1 million, that's $14 million that went to discretionary funds for each individual councilman. I ain't got no more money, so District 8 is spent. So, and I don't know about District 4, but in District 8, I don't have any money. When I became council member, that's one of the first things, where's my money? I ain't got none. So, when the council members got the money, it was up to them to spend the money within their district the way they chose to spend it. So now, when it looks, and then now remember, we also have the police and fire pension. Okay, but the one thing I need you guys to understand is we have to, as council members, we have to juggle all these things in order to make a decision what to do. Go back.
Okay, so y'all got the kind of issues. Here's my bottom line. When I'm looking at former council members, when the city manager is saying we need to do X, Y, Z to fix this up, and they're saying no, it's hypocritical to me to all of a sudden say, save City Hall when you've been saying no to City Hall. That's my opinion. I see your hands. So everybody hold the question until we get done, and I'm gonna recognize everybody. Y'all wanna stay on the time. So that's where I'm at. And I would say, I've said it publicly, I'm saying it again. I said it at the council, I'm saying it again. So where I am is I wanna look at the numbers and see the numbers in order to make a prudent decision. We don't have all that right now with everything that we need to make a decision for. So the objective of tonight's meeting is to bring the expert engineers, bring them here, let them go over the numbers with you. Let you see what we're seeing, because again, District 4 did not come out because people don't work it. You don't ever go down there for whatever the reason. And bring the conversation that we had at City Hall, bring it to our community concerning the numbers. I don't address Romans, because there's a lot of them. That's not what we're here for. We're only here to talk about numbers. Well, the other thing I want to start with before I bring Mr. Peter, who drove from Austin to get here tonight. Thank you, sir. Is L3. If you didn't see my video, I'm gonna show it to you tonight. I got two of them, but this is probably one of them. Well, that ain't it. I didn't even think it was an L3. I thought they were lying. I said the elevator go to L2. They said, no, sir, it's an L3. I said, y'all just saying that to try to push this agenda. Tell y'all what I said. They said, no, it's, I said, well, take me to it. They said, we just can't take you to it. I said, if it exists, take me to it. I'm the council member. I called the city manager. She said it exists. I said, I want to go see it. She said, you have to sign a waiver to get there. I said, I got to sign a waiver. I ain't have to sign a waiver to walk through the front door. She said, you got to sign a waiver to get there. So, okay. Me and Mr. Baptiste, we went in the office. We signed the waiver. I knew something wrong there when we signed the waiver. I start praying. I go down there, out of L2, you go around the corner, and it's like a casket. You open this thing up, and it's some steps that you go down. And I look down there. I said, I don't see enough. This is facts. And I'm going to show you in a minute. And when you're going down the rail, if the rail at half point gets slimy and wet. And I was like, oh my God, what I got myself into. And when you get down there, this thing just opens up. Old Mill Creek runs underneath. They ain't know nothing about no Old Mill Creek. I'm 48 years old, lived in all my life during that.
That's underground.
Underground, didn't know. It opens up. And so I want to show you L3. So I'm gonna show it. I don't know if the video will do justice, and you kind of got to be quiet because I'm trying to narrate it, and when it ain't on the speakers, it's a little bit probably coming out there. And I asked them this question: is L3 a part of City Hall? Yes. So what's the amount to fix L3? And we got to go on the walls and do all this work. The reason why I'm asking this question is because whatever the numbers are, I have to come back to the community and give a honest and transparent answer.
That's right.
I'm not the expert. I'm a pastor and a council member. But we went and got an independent study, and so that's what I asked. I also asked them, is it fair to say, and this is based on my experience as a trustee, when we fixed up South Oak Cliff, Roosevelt, built a new school and homes and etc. Is it fair to say that when we start going into these walls, we're going to disturb asbestos and we're going to run into some unforeseen things we could possibly drive up the cost? He said that's a fair statement. I said, okay. So that's where we are right now. But I want to show y'all L3 because I know everybody don't have social media. So let me see if I can go here. Okay. Y'all just got to get quiet so you can hear it. Now, I'm sorry, my little dashika's a little big. I done lost some weight. Had to throw that in there too. So I'm if y'all be quiet, real quiet, and then you hear, I'm gonna press play now. It's not long. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me see here. Oh, hold on. There you go. Let's see your worship. Okay. We need help. Let me see it this way. No, that ain't it. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Hold on.
So we've been having a discussion about City Hall. And so it's very important, like I told everybody, it's very serious, sensitive information that our community is concerned about. So there's a level called L3 that you can't get to from the elevator. So right now, I'm at L3, and this is beyond the bar. That way, you can see a little bit. That's what it looks like. Never developed. I think it's Old Mill Creek that road comes here. You can see all the way down. This is really it's not raining at all, but it's still water leaking down there every morning.
Getting this done. Mm-hmm.
This is actually, in my opinion, almost worse than
Where's this?
right.
I want to show you guys that because most people have not seen that. And when I got done, Mr. Batty, he literally, I've never seen a big man move 6'10" like he running 4'1". That brother looked down there and saw something. He said he saw an alligator head or something. And he sprinted. I mean, this brother, he big guy. Y'all know how tall he is. That dude hit, I'm talking about, he hit that curve. He said, Councilman, I'm out of here. I said, what's wrong with you? He said, I done seen something move. I don't know what this is about. That little joker said, come on, let's go. And literally, it'll take him to explain. And when we were going back up the steps, literally I was cringing because I had to grab a wet pole that stays wet. And when I got up, I didn't want to touch nothing. I literally ran straight to the restroom and scrubbed my hands. And then when I walked out, it didn't make it no better. I saw a tag that says danger or something. I put that on paper. And I said, Lord, please don't let me come up with nothing. But if we're gonna fix City Hall, we have to fix L3 too. If we're gonna do it right. I done seen enough patchwork advocating for my schools in Dallas ISD. And I don't want another patchwork. I want it done right. So if we, and whatever those funds are, then I have to bring that back to our community and say, here's what it's going to cost to do this. The council members, we voted to give the city manager options to go look at other buildings, tell us what it will cost if we go to another building in the area of downtown, and how much it will cost to stay at City Hall and fix it up completely. When I say completely, I'm not just talking about bricks and mortar. I'm talking about making it modernizing, where we can do business, where if you be in the City Hall, you probably play a video, it may play, it may not play. The internet goes out while we're on the council. Wow. The plugs go out. They were plugging. I have an assistant city manager here. We were trying to plug it, it kept going out, the breaker kept jumping. So those are the things that we have to, and this y'all know this. Buildings don't get like this overnight.
No. Over time.
I just got down there. I can tell you, I didn't go into City Hall talking about we need to leave. Right. I went to City Hall saying, I'm excited to do more work for my community. And when those communications started coming, people said, I said, I don't know what y'all talking about. I only been there 7.5 months. But I have to be honest, and I told them, I'm gonna bring this to my community. I heard all these rumors, so I'm letting y'all know from me. No, I have not made my decision yet, because I don't have enough information to make a decision. I'm just showing y'all what I'm experiencing and showing you stuff that possibly people don't want you to see. You did hear my op-ed, because that's out there. I did say the maps need to stay downtown. I did not say where they need to be at downtown. Because I got council members that's trying to push the Mavericks north. Yeah. And here's my philosophy and why I stand where I stand. I'm tired of everybody trying to take stuff north away from the southern sector. Dallas D went 9,400 when I think they should have stayed downtown. I went on a board then. We were fighting for SOP. They said no to SOP, 40 million, but gave themselves 40 million to move down to north, to central. So I'm against that. Pushing things further away from our community where we can't enjoy the things that we want to enjoy in our city. And plus, we can't afford to go way like that. Some of my community ain't gonna drive right. My senior citizen barely, my grandmother had a heart attack going on Rudy sometimes. She was scared to drive when we lived in City Crest. So that's where my stance is. Don't take things away from my community. Yeah. Include us. Yeah. That's where I am on that. So what I did was I asked the city manager, and I talked to the expert engineers. I said, I'm going to have a town hall. I didn't ask for her permission. I told her I'm going to do it. I did ask, could they come? And she looked at the legal thing, make sure everything was fine, and said they could come. I asked them. They said they would be here. Mr. Peter was in Austin. He drove from Austin to be here because I told him it is extremely important. And it almost not happened. I said, that's not going to be a good look. So I'm going to tell everybody the truth. He said, I just want to make sure I'm in order because they buy contracts and sell. So I just want to let you guys know that what I'm doing is what I've always done. I'm bringing this to our community. So whatever decision we make, or whatever decision that I have to make, you're going to understand my what, and you're going to understand my why. Why he made this decision? He brought it to us. He brings us these numbers. Whether it's to stay, do something different, I'm going to be completely honest and transparent. So you'll know what's going on. And I want to thank you because every time I call a community meeting, y'all always show up. You always show up. So I appreciate it. But just to let it be known, I have not made any decision. The only thing we voted on is to see what the options are. Now, there are some that have made their decision. One of our council members said they don't care if they take out asbestos, do a swing out program, and while they working on the bottom floor, we'll be on top. I said, I'm not gonna be here if they're gonna take out asbestos.
No.
Or more. I'm not putting my health in jeopardy.
No.
I just got married. I'm gonna enjoy my wife. I got grandchildren I want to see grow up and be successful. We didn't even do that for the kids. When some of our schools, it got so bad, we had to move those kids out of the building. And our educators out of the building because that asbestos fibers get up in the air and it'll do body harm. So you don't even know 30 years later down the road, you got cancer, don't understand what happened. So we have to make a prudent decision. And right now, we're waiting on everything to come together. Don't believe the hype. Some of these folks they have political agendas. I'm being recorded, so I'm saying it ain't nothing I can't say it again. I'm saying it because I know I'm being recorded. We need honesty. You don't care about no politics. You just want people to tell the truth.
That's it.
And so that's what I did tonight.
Just be transparent.
I want y'all to know where the numbers are so you can get what I'm getting, and then we can have a conversation after this meeting's over. When I get some more information, I'm going to bring that back to you because that's my job, to give it to you the way I'm getting it. And then we'll work together and understand what we need to do. And so at this time, I'm gonna introduce Mr. Peter. He got his laptop, so he's gonna connect it and show you guys what we saw at the council. Okay, so again, I want to make clear why he's coming. We asked the city manager as a council. When I say council, I mean council members. I think it's the finance committee. I serve on the finance committee. You can remove mine. And I serve on the finance committee. I'm also the chair of the committee of government efficiency. So these are the numbers that an independent study, what we requested. So I want to make sure that's clear because I'll get an email talking about we want an independent study. That's what the city manager did. She went and got an independent study. Because the members of the council members said we don't want to hear your staff. And so since he did that, they do this across the country. And we asked them several council members asked them this question: do you stand by your work and your numbers? They said yes. And so when we did this in the school board, we asked them to go get expert engineers. That's how we knew what Roosevelt needed. And we had Santonio working hard down there, making sure the thing right. South Oak Cliff, that new OW Homes, John Lewis, y'all see, when you walk in there, we had experts. They're going to give us $20 million and send us home. That expert said this $20 million is like $1.
Yes.
It'll be a waste of funds. So when we get independent study and expert engineers, we have to listen.
Yes.
So I don't have no political agenda. I just want to know the truth so we can make a wise decision. So at this time, Mr. Peter, if you can, this is our community district board. Thank you for coming.
I'm gonna need a volunteer to help me flip through this presentation for a bit, but thank you. Just hit down arrow. We're going to flip around a little bit. My name is Pete Jansen. I'm with CBRE. Thank you all for having me here today. I am wrapped up with Houston. I appreciate the council members having me up here. But I've been working in Dallas a long time. I helped the county put together the Oak Cliff Government Center project, and as well as Commissioner Price's community building as well, his precinct building. So I've been working in South Dallas for a long time. The council member mentioned a couple things I think are important. The charge we were given. Excuse me. Do you have a microphone down there? Oh, I don't, but I can speak up. Okay, thank you. And if you have any other feedback along the way, just raise your hand and I'll answer questions as best I can. So I'm here representing a broader team. I'm with CBRE, and I've been working in South Dallas a long time, but we had a collaborative effort with...
Mr. Peter, I'm sorry. Talk a little loud so my scenes they can't hear you now.
I'll project.
I'm a pastor, so
I'll do my best preacher voice. I grew up in the church, and it's just good to be with you all. So the long and short of it is we put together a collaborative team, and the charge from the council to the city manager and from the city manager to us was not can we live in this for the next 2 years, not is it livable right now, it was how do we fix it correctly for the next 50 years. Yeah. So the charge was do it right, do it the right way the first time, and don't put the people in danger. So when we found out that there was asbestos in the building, that has an impact on all of the associated findings. So there's no way, in our opinion, to do it safely without taking on a lot of risk to do a phased temporary fix. So again, the charge was do it right, do it the right way the first time, of course do it with good attitude, and tell us what it's really going to cost. So look, we don't have perfect plans yet, we don't have full construction bids, but when you hire the biggest firms in the world with a lot of data, it's fairly easy for us to go into our databases and say, what are other projects costing? What's applicable to this job? And how can we put together a fair, reasonable bid on this project? So the numbers are what they are. They're enormous. There's no way to sugarcoat it. It's expensive. And when you take out, $329 million to fix the building, and then you need another 165 to make it modernized, because we're not trying to do business the way we did it the past 50 years. We're looking towards the future. So you can't use the same AV technology. You can't use the same Wi-Fi. You got to upgrade things. So to do it right, there is a modernization cost. And that pays benefits in a lot of ways. But when you're borrowing $500 million, the interest cost is significant. So it's just math. You borrow $500 million at 5% over 20 years, it costs you another $299 million. So we had all the numbers verified with the CFO. We didn't just say, here's the numbers. We spent a lot of time. The collective team spent almost 2,000 hours between December 1st and February 26th to put all the numbers together. So I've been living and breathing this project with 10 people on my team, and it was 80 people in total that worked on it. So it wasn't me sitting in a back room, just working on Excel. But long story short, it takes a lot of money to modernize the building. And then based on our opinion, there may be other opinions, but our opinion, based on what we found with the environmental findings, is that you should move out. You shouldn't put people in danger.
That's right.
It could take a couple years, and these are the things we don't know. We don't know exactly what's behind the walls. We were not allowed to drill into the walls and try to patch things up and find out if there was asbestos in all the walls. But based on the construction age, it's pretty likely. The other things that are driving this is you got steel pipes. Steel corrodes. This is an old building. So you can't just suddenly slap new pipes all over the building. If you want it to look and feel the same way, you got to dig all the old pipes out, put all the new pipes in. It's going to be a complicated project. So we just don't feel, in our opinion, that it's a rational, reasonable thing to try to have people coming and going for 3 to 5 years while you're trying to fix this. So the $329 million is the kind of the core number. But when you go out and move out for a couple years, you got to have a little bit of wiggle room in that timeline. So we simulated a 5-year lease. We looked at the whole market to try to find the best solution. And the numbers are what they are. Buildings aren't free. And you're relocating 2,000 people to one of these locations. It's not a cheap thing. So the numbers add up to what they add up to. It's $907 million, and that's just to get you back in a modernized building over a 5-year project plan. Yes, it could be done a little faster, but when we were charged with doing it right, we weren't charged with provide us the most aggressive, the fastest, the rosiest picture. It was give us a reasonable picture. And so 80 people put their heads together and said, this is a reasonable process. There's going to be a lot of opinions, and we get that, and that's fine. But this is the charge we're given. There are certainly ways the numbers could come down, but there are certainly ways the numbers could go up. When you start drilling into the walls, you're going to find some other things. So we just feel like that's pretty rational and reasonable way to approach it. So I'll just walk through some of the other bullet points. It's an old building. Things have a useful life. You could get a couple more years out of some of these systems. That's fine. You certainly could. But we were asked, what does the 50-year picture look like? And what does it cost to do it right? So you could slap a new, boiler, chiller, some new lines on different things. You could do a hodgepodge approach. That was not the charge that was given to us. That said, if the council directive is to come up with a project plan for a 3-year window, we can run those numbers too. That just wasn't what we were charged with. It was do it right, do it the first time, and look at how can we modernize this for the next 40, 50 years. So things are beyond their useful life. The playbook says when it's beyond their useful life, now's a good time to fix it before it breaks. So we all have HVAC units, we have houses, when your boiler, your water heater breaks, it's not fun to have to deal with it broken. But if it's getting to be 10, 12, 15 years old,
That's somebody back here.
musical interlude. So look, when you're getting to your 10, 15-year lifespan on your water heater, you're hoping and praying it doesn't break. You're hoping the maintenance has worked. In this case, the reality is what it is. The city hasn't done the maintenance on the building. It's an easy thing to kick the can down the road when you're facing budget pressures on systems, and that's what's happened. The city has not spent what the book says you should be spending on a building. And I can't change the past, but I can tell you, you're in that situation where your water heaters are getting close to their useful life. They haven't been maintained properly. And so the playbook says, the code says, the process says, replace it now before it breaks. And that's what we put together. So you could pick apart all kinds of things with the analysis, but and that's fair. The numbers could go down, the numbers could go up. But this is our baseline assumption. And so I was primarily charged with the third bullet point was, is there anything else out there that we should consider? You're making a major decision for 40, 50 years. Is there anything else out there? And so we went out to the market, looked at everything that's possible. We had dozens and dozens of responses. And the overall pulse check, without final numbers, is that there's some attractive things out there that you ought to consider. If you're going to spend potentially this amount of money, is there anything else out there that might be attractive? And long story short, our conclusion is that there are things that are attractive that you ought to consider before you make a final decision. It's really that simple. You should think about this if you're going to also look at this. I like to frame it up as, if you're going to say yes to something, you ought to know what you're saying no to. And in this case, my professional opinion is that you might be saying no to some things that you might regret. So you ought to check those out before you make those final commitments. Is that all making sense?
Yes.
Right. So there's the other parts of this. Doing it right means thinking about the workplace of the future and the workplace that is best for the citizens, best for the services you're delivering. We all know the workplace is going to change. It's changing now. AI is hitting us. What you need on a day-to-day basis in the office is different. And you can't predict all those things. But it is fair to say that the city ought to look at, is the amount of square footage you have at City Hall appropriate for the workforce of the future or for a consolidation effort? These are just normal questions that large corporations like cities ask when they're doing big headquarters projects, if you will. So we also looked at that with the architects. to come up with how much space do you actually need for the functions that are occurring. And so everything we tested in the market so far, and everything we're looking at for City Hall is how should you allocate space for the future and can you get more efficient? I think we can all agree that you want to be more efficient if you're going to do something like this. You don't want your allocation of space in offices to get larger. You want them to get smaller, but you probably want better technology because that's how we're using office space these days. So long story short, we're looking to see, is anything else out there in the market that the city ought to consider? Punchline is, we think there's some things you ought to really think about. Second charge is, let's go see if any of those other options are more efficient potentially. That work's not done. That's the directive that was given to us last week. I don't know if anybody was watching at 1 o'clock in the morning when the resolution came down. Some of you were. But the charge was, go test some of these things. Go explore. That was the word in the resolution. So that's what's going to happen next. All pretty normal stuff. It may feel like it's happening fast, but I can tell you, 2,000 hours of work have been into this just on the third party side, plus the hundreds and hundreds of hours that the city staff has allocated to this, plus all the work that's been done with the city council members in briefings along the way. So there is a ton of effort going into this. But I think this is all just about stewardship and what is the right decision going forward. No conclusions have been made, but directionally, if you're thinking about, should I invest in my own house? Yeah, maybe I want to see if there's something a little cheaper down the street that might be better conditioned than what I have because I didn't maintain my house. That's all that's going on. There's a lot of, stuff going on in the newspapers, but I think it's just a fair analysis about stewardship. Before you spend $1 on anything, let's make sure it's at the right location. And if it's at City Hall, great. That could be a very terrific solution going forward for the city. But you need to know, maybe if there's something else out there that's a little cheaper and better, maybe you want to consider that. So I'm going to stop there. That's the punchline. But look, I've been doing this a long time. I'm 20 years in. Maybe I don't look like it, but I'm 20 years into a career representing government entities doing projects all over the country. The city's doing it by the book. They're hiring all the right resources. All of us are behaving exactly as we should to our licensure standards. And in my opinion, it's happening at a very reasonable pace. This is not the fastest projects I've done. It's not the slowest. But I can tell you, the longer you defer decisions on City Hall, we all know water intrusion doesn't do you any favors. Even in a big concrete building, it's not good for the overall building. We were getting a big storm that night in City Hall last week, and the water was dripping down into the council chambers at 1 o'clock in the morning. The roof needs to be replaced. So before you replace it, let's make sure that's a good dollar spent. So let me stop there. I hope I haven't spoken out of turn on anything, but I'll stop there and open up for questions. Councilmember, assuming you want questions.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're gonna ask some questions so you guys get. I see a lot of hands going up. So I know I saw Sydney, your hand was first earlier, so I'm gonna get you. Keep your hands up, or when she finished talking, then we'll do that.
Yeah.
Okay?
How about we move kind of left to right, and then we'll come back right to left. Is that fine?
The system.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
So, I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, so you harped on L3 a lot. That's the underpinnings of the building. So what was L3 supposed to be if you're saying that that's supposed to be part of the corrective repairs? Which I thought corrective before included modernizing, replacing stuff that was already replaced, furniture and all that kind of stuff. So now it looks like that's a separate line item. So what exactly are those corrective repairs that are going to be going on?
Yes, yes. Okay.
Yeah, great question. Very fair, and we have the information on that. So let me get you a little bit more details on corrective repairs.
And while he's getting that, the reason why I mentioned L3 is if we're gonna fix up City Hall, let's fix up City Hall. Let's don't fix up part of City Hall. Let's go from top to bottom.
Right.
And fix it correctly. So that's why I wanted to show L3, because it's a part of City Hall. It exists. Now, what I heard, what it used to be, it's undeveloped. From what I've been told, it's undeveloped. So again, L3 is a part of City Hall.
Yeah, basically.
So that's what I'm saying. If we're gonna do it, let's do it correctly. So that's why I mentioned L3, because no one knew it existed. Go ahead.
Yeah, so great question. Here's your 330. Let's just call it 330 for sake of discussion.
Please, Madam Chair.
I can't hear.
So again, the charge was fix it correctly, do it right the first time. So that was building envelope, so that's roof, that's your windows where they need to be replaced, that's your window seals. Then you got all your systems, okay, new HVAC, new plumbing, everything's new electrical, okay? And then you've got your core building systems, that's the main issue, plumbing, fire protection, elevators, generators. There's a lot of components that go into these buildings, and they're all expensive right now. I mean, we all see it when we go to Home Depot. Things are expensive these days, but when you're talking about systems of this magnitude, they're back ordered, production is tight, and they are expensive. So that's what's going into it. The 329 does not include the modernization. It is a separate line item. Modernization is your new offices, and keep in mind, you're drilling through concrete. This is a very challenging project. So concrete is great for longevity, and it's great as a resilient thing, but it's not easy to work with as a material. So we're not tearing off plywood and drywall. This is drilling through concrete, putting in new pipes, patching up the drywall, patching up the concrete, and then you've got to build your new offices, your new furniture, your new audiovisual. Audiovisual is very expensive. That's in the modernization. And that's how you get to the overall, call it 500 million.
So,
Hold on. Wait, no, she's still talking.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am. Hold on. Let me say this. We're gonna respect everybody's time. You just don't yell out. She's talking, so we're gonna respect her. She still has the floor.
okay, thank you. So what are these pipes that are in this concrete? Because that has never been said. And two, where is L3 on there? Because was there a boat? Because I was told it was to keep it from flooding, and there was a boat there that would go take you to a plug to drain it out. So this is like the crawl space under the building. Where is that on there?
It's not on there. So it's not on there. So you're not fixing up L3 for that. So this is L3 was originally designed as a connection point for a future train terminal. Okay, it's not meant to be inhabited on a day-to-day basis. So it's not space you want to use. So you gotta have to correct that too. But the water, I think the broader point is the water intrusion, which is happening all over the building.
So to answer her question, Miss, I didn't see no vote.
Okay.
I was told if I was talking vote, we did in the video. Yes, sir. Hold on, Assistant City Manager, you want to address her as well?
Yes, sir, and thank you for your question. So there's a sump pump in
Okay.
L3.
Is that long black pump?
Yes, and
Okay.
so when the water, which comes up from the ground and from above, gets pumped out, right? So to stop. Oh, I'm so sorry. My apologies. Sorry, I wasn't expecting to even speak tonight. No, that's a joke, by the way. No, what I'm trying to describe to you and what he was sharing with you, when they designed City Hall, there was this idea that potentially it would be a pedestrian and or light rail or some type of train station underground where people could actually get dropped off at City Hall there and then actually enter the building above. That never happened. So there's this cavernous space that you can see to the bedrock. I don't know if you guys remember in the video that it's all bedrock down there.
Yeah.
Right? And there's bedrock on the ground. That's why the water is still seeping up from what they call Old Mill Creek.
Great.
I'm sorry, say
I said, it looks great for it to be almost a 50-year building, and that's the underpinnings.
well, I'm gonna leave that part alone. I'll let somebody.
Yeah.
But my point is that the building is not about to cave in or fall in on itself.
No.
L3 is this unfinished. It's almost like having an unfinished garage at your house that you decided when you moved in, you had so much money and you was gonna fix all of this stuff. And you got your bedroom and you got your den how you wanted it. And somebody said, you know what, this garage is rated for some people to live in there, and you can make an extra bedroom in there someday, and you never did.
Right.
That's a lot of what it's like.
It's worse than that, because that's mold down.
Yeah.
I'm a master plumber, so I go up under housing. That's a crawl space. Every time you got that mold, it seeps up through the air, and they can get people sick.
So let me say this. Let me say this. I see everybody hand. What we said we was gonna do, we was gonna go left to right.
Your left.
So my left which is your right. So your right to left. And we want to get everybody's question. So if we start yelling out of turn, then we won't respect the next person to have their hand up. So I see everybody's hand. So right now I'm in this section.
Yeah, okay.
So who hand was, I see your hand, Natasha. So we got Natasha, then we got you, then you, then you, then you. We got it? Okay, then I see you, brother, I see him in the back, Brother Alexander. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks for the high-level overview. Is there a place where the public can view the actual analysis in your report so we can see the line-by-line item? Or do you have an estimated like punch list or something like that you use?
Yeah, so when the reports came out, they all went on a public link. I don't know it right off the top of my head, but it is all readily available. All of the AECOM reports, the CBRE reports, everything that is not confidential or could compromise the city's position anyway is readily available.
Wait, so is that something that we should follow up with our councilman?
Yeah,
Or
sure.
are you able to?
Yeah, I can give you that
send out
link.
to
I
us?
can give you that link tonight.
Okay,
I'll put my bag in there if you want it.
perfect, thank you.
Thank you, so you next.
You have to understand, there's like thousands of pages of work.
We
So,
know.
yeah.
We've done this before.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, in your data, do you have the square footage number for the air-conditioned usable space of City Hall?
So the air-conditioned usable space, the best number I have off the top of my head, I'm not the architect, it's roughly 600,000 feet. So when we're talking about square footage in commercial terms, it can be very confusing because there's gross building envelopes, which is one technical term. There's what's called rentable square foot, and then there's usable square foot. So the gross size of the building is 775,000 square feet, and then the garage is about another 800,000. So think about it as like 1.6 million gross square feet, and then the occupied space working number is about 600,000 usable square feet in City Hall.
Okay, that answers my question about that, because in all of this data, like, I'm in the business too.
Okay.
And I've seen things worse than that L3, believe me, in basements, and as another speaker said, that this is the basement.
Yes.
And there are things that you can do in a basement to help waterproof or help protect from mold growing. So, I mean, there are maintenance things that you can do. We don't have to throw the baby out yet. And that's how I feel about City Hall. Like, I don't think we need to throw the whole thing out yet, because there is value in a structure. That is a carbon footprint that we've made. You know, choices beyond any of our lifetime have made those choices to do this. The wheels started turning a long, long time ago. So that choice to do the L3 was not our choice, but we were stuck with it. So now we, 100 years later, people after us are going to be looking at, well, what do we do next with these 100-year-old buildings? I work on 100-year-old buildings. This building isn't even 50 years old yet, so it's still a baby. And another thing that I would hope that people are considering is just the longevity of the building moving forward. If we do make these repairs, I mean, it could stand for another 100 years.
Sure could.
And just plan for that, like if there needs to be another building that joins this building, that can be done very creatively. And we just need to think that this is not beyond any of our comprehension to spend the money as a city and hope that this money goes in the right direction. This 19 million did not go in the right direction, and had some of that stuff been done, maybe we wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah, right. Fair. Yeah.
So we just need to trust that this is gonna go through the process. And right now, like as our councilperson has pointed out, there's just been a lot of misconception and basically the public can't trust the leaders because they made that decision. So here we are now, and I appreciate you putting all of this together. This is very, very helpful. I was at the meetings. I did not speak because I feel like I'm not contributing anything more than people have already said, but I did not know that we were going to be counted by district. So next time I will go for our District 4. Believe me, I will be there. So I'm there with you, and if you need, architectural or engineering guidance in any of this, please reach out to your district, because there are people, artists and people, we stay to ourselves sometimes, but we will help you navigate through all this if you need help. Thank you.
You was saying. Let me say this before she starts speaking. I understand what people feel about L3. My opinion and how I feel about L3, it's a part of City Hall. And if we're gonna fix City Hall, I wanna fix the complete City Hall.
Exactly.
So that's where I'm at. I understand everybody's opinion, and you feel the way you feel, and that's fine. I'm not offended by anybody's statement, because we have every right to do our own. That's what this meeting is about. But the way I'm looking at it, and we, as my sister said in the back, Miss Natasha, we've been here before. I've been here before on the school board where we've had to fix these problems. So I'm probably the only council member that has gone through this process, and I can guarantee you, I did not see us having to deal with this. And you said something that was very key. The reason why we're here is because the can has been kicked down the road. Amen. I just been on I think Councilwoman Blair, I don't know if she's still here. We just got here 7 months. But we have, this is a big thing, and what I was told that the former mayor said, Mayor Rollins said they was having these discussions. It was a tough discussion, and no one wanted to do it because it could cost you politically. So they kept kicking the can down the road. Even the mayor, our current mayor, said the same thing. If you make a move, it's council members right now that are so afraid that says, if I go in whatever direction, I'm not gonna get voted for again. And so I said this, and this is what I said. I said, I'm gonna tell my community the truth.
Amen.
I'm gonna let them see what I'm seeing.
Amen.
So whatever decision we make, no one will ever be able to say, I didn't come to my community.
Right.
And the city manager never said we couldn't have townhomes.
Excuse me. What time is this meeting over?
It's 7:45, but we can go a little over if people really stay.
So I know you're
That's all.
talk a little bit more, but.
No, but I'm fine.
We're gonna give opportunity for.
Absolutely. We always do. So I just want to make sure that's clear. Who you was next?
Yes.
And then you.
Thanks again so much for doing this. It means a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not offended by you.
I wasn't saying anything, but.
Yeah, we
always. Please.
Okay.
No, we're not offended by your question. We always go on.
Okay.
We're okay.
Thanks again for having this meeting. I didn't get to look at the resolution because I fell asleep at 1 o'clock in the morning, but I think there was an amendment, and I just wanted to ask, the firms that, like, those firm names are very familiar to me working for the city contracts. They've had lots of contracts with the city. Are the firms that did this study to put this out for you guys to observe, are they gonna be able to bid for these jobs? Because like this tells me they have a financial stake. So like I'm just wondering, the firm that did the study, are they gonna be able to bid on the projects?
I know that question was asked, and I think we said no. What did we say? Was that correct? So we said no.
There was an amendment done for that?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, I didn't get to read.
Some of y'all didn't do 1:30, y'all.
Yeah, I fell asleep at 11, like I
Wasn't it 3/4 of a mile from City Hall or something like that?
I think it did something like half a mile. Yeah, it was, when I say late one, so yes, I think that was something, and that was for integrity purposes.
Right.
So yes,
That
ma'am.
didn't pass.
I think that
It
did
did not
pass.
pass, Lord?
Well, the one that was a half a mile, that one did not pass. The one for the could not bid, I believe that one did pass. Yeah, but it was the one that said you could, if you had property that was a half a mile, they changed it 3/4, half a mile away from City Hall, could not be part of the process. That one did not pass.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I can go look it up for you.
I can look it up. I know
Yeah.
all of it. I just wanted to know
Mine
what
is
you
second.
Yes, go ahead.
Mine is the second question. Did you guys account for asbestos in the concrete material? Because I'm looking at your updated estimates for that.
Yeah.
It seems a little low, and it doesn't account for asbestos
Right.
possibly being in the concrete.
So we have a great bid on what it is going to cost to fix the stuff we can see right now. The methodology for this level of engineering estimate has flux in it, high and low. But we did not drill, there was no invasive work done at City Hall into the concrete. So if they find more things in the concrete, that's where the remediation numbers could go up. We don't have precision on that because our study did not authorize us to do any drilling into the building.
What I heard earlier, though, you said that there is asbestos in the building.
There is asbestos.
But then it can also be in the concrete material mix. Because once they start disturbing it, then it gets all over, it's hard to
The
contain.
definitive answer is there is asbestos all over the building, but there's also asbestos that we do not know about because we couldn't drill and we couldn't access certain places. So yes, and yes, there could be more. And no, we don't have an estimate for what it's going to take to fix everything because you won't be able to see everything until you start the construction.
Okay, our next question. So everybody know, we going here, then we have those two in the back, and then we'll be on this side. So you don't have to hold your hand up, because I don't want you to get tired. I promise you I'll see you. And when we leave this side, I know your hand been up for a while, so I'm gonna start with you. Right here. Okay.
So I don't really have a question, but for fairness for the group, I think we need to have questions, move, have questions, because we've taken up probably a good time.
Yeah.
And for fairness for the rest of the people that are here, select two questions here, move, select two questions, and move and select two questions. Because those who have their hands up need to get time, because we're eating up the time over here. Let it be a question, not a whole commentary of what you're doing, because we're eating up time that people are trying to get through.
Yeah, if I can answer the questions first, then I'll probably have to recuse myself and let the councilman handle commentary about the pulse on this. I'm not the best audience for what's best for you all. So I'm happy to answer questions, and I bet as we answer some of them, some of the commentary will get addressed as well. So you, ma'am.
Hold on. We're right here.
Yes, sir.
When I look at Boston, when I look at New York City, when I look at Washington, D.C., Atlanta, Miami, St. Louis, Detroit, Chicago, Houston, LA, San Francisco, all of them have city halls that are older than Dallas.
Not Detroit.
When we then have a company like CBRE who has feelers nationally for how those renovation projects have gone in these older buildings over time, what of that expertise has been brought to this? One. Two, what assumptions have been part of crafting some of these numbers? And I'm not suggesting anything sinister, but in the interest of transparency for people who've been out of the loop, I think that people need to understand, here are our foundational assumptions about what this project is going to require. Here's what we've discovered along the way, and there's still more to discover, as we referenced with the asbestos. Three, if we accept that there is work that needs to happen along what you have laid out here thus far, there are some other assumptions that are not part of the relocation, whether it's temporary or permanent, that go to real estate costs and other things that have to be part of the same number. So if we're going to do a double relocate, which isn't unreasonable if we're going to stay, but it's definitely going to happen if we decide to go to another place. We own the land that City Hall sits on now. If we go to a new place, there's the real estate cost of that new site, plus everything that we're still discussing. And we need to have an apples and apples conversation about what those identifiable, foreseeable, and real costs are gonna be under both scenarios.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, what was your question?
I've got, what is the expertise CBRE is bringing from other cities that have older city halls than Dallas
Yes, sir.
for this project?
Yes, sir.
And what are some things that they've discovered in these renovations that have happened in these older city halls that can be brought and be good food
Yes, sir.
for this project? Two, what are the assumptions that are a part of this project for people who've been out of the loop? Three, what are the criteria of evaluation? And that's a macro conversation, but what are the assumptions? What are the,
All very fair. I got it.
Right, I think he got it. I want to make sure that he got it.
1 second.
because I think the evaluative criteria that the council's gonna ultimately work with and decide on, I think the public wants to know that criteria before we even get to a vote. As we're evaluating these options, the public wants to see what those criteria are, so that process is more transparent. And please understand, I'm exceptionally thankful for this meeting, but I want to be sure that in the spirit, we've got as much information as possible, because
Absolutely.
if you bought a new Corvette today and didn't do any maintenance on that car for 5 years, don't be surprised when your radiator hose busts.
Right. I love the questions. Who likes the question? I think that's a great question. A lot of people like those questions. All very fair, and I appreciate the spirit of them and the technical levels to it. So, first of all, any scenario, stay or go, has to be apples to apples. We are 100% with you. This is the methodology of all the costs if you're going to stay. Okay, this is presented publicly as hiding the ball here. This is the methodology. You operate the building, you need to maintain it correctly in the future. That's what this number is. There's the 906 that we presented. There's the cost of capital. There's some ranges in there. It's not a perfect science yet. There's some ranges in there, and that's all very fair. This is the same methodology. Think about it this way. The 329 is kind of your good basis. Can you buy or lease something for less than the 329? Because every other cost there applies to a new location. Potentially, unless that building's better than the one you have today and it's been perfectly maintained. So, generally speaking, I just want to answer your question this way. 100% apples to apples, that's the methodology. I actually reviewed all the numbers with the financial team and with the CFO of the city in great detail. I have the live model, I have all the inputs, I have all the flow. So, the one thing I want to convey here is that we picked the most conservative numbers possible on every single level of relocation scenarios for the comparison. So no rose-colored glasses on anything. Okay? I have not assumed anything is operating perfectly. If buildings said they were in great shape, I added more on top of that. So that's the methodology to present fairly. But again, this is directional findings. This is not final pricing on anything. So the directional sentiment was one way, but you have to do apples to apples. So I think that hopefully answers the spirit of that question, which I think is a great one. The second one about expertise nationally, we drew on our colleagues nationally and globally to think about this and think about methodology. The primary findings of that research were it's very difficult and not advisable to do a phased renovation. That was the primary finding of all of our outreach nationally about complex renovation projects. And the second key finding was, yes, it is possible to renovate with asbestos in place. It's not advisable and it increases your risk position. So we weren't asked to come up with the riskiest, rosiest picture. We were asked to come with a risk-averse picture that says, should we do this? That's for the council members to decide. We're asked to opine on risk. Clearly riskier, and based on the timelines of projects, not advisable. So I helped the county when they left the records building. We originally signed a 5-year lease. The county was in Renaissance Tower for 9 years. And that project went pretty well. That was a total gut job, starting over, very much like we're saying needs to happen on City Hall. The projects just do not tend to go very smoothly when you're doing something of this magnitude. Even if you transfer all the risks to the GC, they're complicated. So again, we weren't saying it couldn't be done in 3 years, but we said it's more than likely it takes longer. So that was the primary finding of the outreach. But look, this is an old building. It could be a lot older. There are a couple 100-year-old buildings. I went to Europe last summer for a week. There are 1,000-year-old buildings there, but they're maintained properly. So we weren't asked to say, can the City Hall be older? It's self-evident. It could be 200 years old if you keep it and maintain it correctly. We were just asked, what does it take to get it fixed for the next 50? And that's how we approach it. Is that fair? You feel good about that? Okay. Let's move on to this row here.
Okay, my concern is that, about the relocation that we have to, and things stay within our area so that we're able to access more. Because my concern is that when we do things like this, it goes further and further out, and we have a hard time accessing the places that we need to go.
Well, so I can't comment too much on what's happening in the market.
But you said you had some locations that you were looking at. Can you share that with us?
I can't share locations.
Are
I
they
can't
within our area, or are they further out?
Well, I can't even share that because it would compromise the city's position. But I can tell you, there are not 500,000 to 1 million square foot office buildings in South Dallas. They don't exist. So that, I can tell you, City Hall is not moving down here because that doesn't exist. So.
I'll tell you, I ain't supporting going North Dallas either, so I say that openly.
I can tell you, the bulk of the buildings available in this size are in the CBD. So they don't exist today in South Dallas, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of availability.
Southern. That's you said Southern. Sometimes when you say South Dallas, people think you mean Fair Park area.
Oh, well, thank you.
Southern.
Southern Dallas. They don't exist in Southern Dallas. And generally speaking, where there is availability today for a move of this magnitude is in the CBD. Everyone knows
CBD?
that. Central Business
District.
District. Yeah. Downtown. Yeah.
Downtown. Yes, that's good.
Okay. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
With all these estimates that you're getting, and as you said too, regarding the costs and et cetera, and maybe not flexibility of property, and what you're suggesting talking about the buildings, are you looking at and considering the fact that City Hall is a place where people, just as we would go to downtown now, what is it, 6 levels or 5?
Depending on how many levels in the basement.
Current building. No, I'm just talking about workable space.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that what people want to do, and that's all across the country, what the gentlemen all are talking about, all the city halls across the country. City halls across the country are not 10 stories high. They want to be accessible to the people coming and going to them, which the City Hall, where it is now, that is accessible, parking and everything else. You're talking about CBD moving in, recommended in some areas back to these buildings. That's not the case because the next building from that building is not very far.
Right.
So my thoughts is, as I've said to the council, whatever which way it goes with the other council members, I'm voting. If they want to tear down the building, build a new building, it should be within the same proximity that this building is in. Because as one person said, we own the land.
Is that a question or is that a statement?
Well, it's all together there to give everybody to understand.
Hold on.
That's all.
Let me say this. Hold on, stop. Let me say this. Everybody hold up. I understand that people are gonna ask questions, make statements. I'm leading this meeting.
Thank you.
So I'm asking you to respect that I'm leading this meeting.
Absolutely.
And if I'm letting the community speak, let them speak. I don't want no one to feel like their voice is not gonna be heard.
Absolutely.
So that's all I'm asking. Amen? Thank you.
Well, long story short, I get what I'm saying. Maybe you can relate it to them.
The question and the statement, the opinion is that City Hall should be accessible and it should serve citizens and it shouldn't be difficult to get to. And the gentleman's asking, are we looking at those things? Absolutely. I can't invent buildings though. I can only collect the information, pass it on to the council members, the city manager, and then you all make a decision. So I'm collecting all the information because there's so many important data points. There's 50, 60, 80 criteria groups use when they're making selections like this. And those same criteria need to be applied equally and fairly. That's the methodology. So if there were 100 buildings, I'd present 100 buildings. If there was one building, I'd present one building. That's all I can do.
Yes, sir, in the back.
Okay, so on the question of methodology and what you're quantifying, I would assume, because I haven't seen those numbers, any quantifiable impacts on losing things like the city square. Because all of these other opportunity buildings are skyscrapers, but they don't include city squares where people pass by. Because I think there are oftentimes people here, I think maybe would visit City Hall maybe once a year, if that, but what is passed by is that area, is downtown, is that area. So are you taking into any considerations either from a monetary standpoint or a, like what we lose from the city, and that's probably more on the council member, what the citizens lose by having this type of move to like a more of a corporate building?
Yeah, totally fair, totally fair. Great sentiment, and it's something that we're looking closely at. So the way I think about this, and this is not for everybody, but this is the way I think about it, is how do I know what I'm saying yes and no to? You know right now what you might be saying no to. But we can't present yet what you might be saying yes to. And so I would hold my opinion just kind of fairly and in balance and impartial until I knew what I could say yes to. Unfortunately, can't share that information yet. Part of it is because the work's not finalized, and part of it is because if I'm a developer, if I'm a building owner, and I know that the citizen access is important, I need time to develop that. And that can't be invented overnight either. So in the spirit of the resolution, which is explore, that feedback should be given to all the proposing parties, and they should have the opportunity to see what they can create with their assets. But you're right. A lot of buildings don't have a lot next door. A lot of buildings don't have a park next door. There might be changes. It might be different, but we don't have all the answers yet. But that's feedback in terms of selection criteria. That's feedback in terms of how do we think about this, that you pass on to your councilman and to the city manager and say, this is really important. Can you make sure you think about that? And that's all you can do right now.
Right, but I think that that's important to contextualize here, because when we put up millions of dollars and people, it's a scary number, right?
Yep.
To say we are spending millions of dollars, but without the context of one, we have to spend this much because we kick the can down the road so much, and two, we do not also have any quantifiable numbers for you to say, here's what you're losing as your citizens, which I think, again, as feedback to the council member, would be appreciated, because this is all millions of dollars, that's great, but what are we losing as citizens?
Right. Absolutely. And once I get those numbers and to the council and the city manager presents it to the entire council, I'll make sure that we have another meeting and bring that. And then if you get a newsletter, we're gonna do everything we can to put all this information in the newsletter. And now we're doing texting. So I'm trying to push all this information as fast as I get it to the entire district forward.
Yeah.
So I see we're going just like this, y'all. I see everybody. You have a question? Did you have a question? Okay.
I do. I'm gonna stick to dollars. You mentioned that it's $907 million to fix it. What is the value of the building today? And if it is fixed, just like you would your house, what would the value be? And if we're going to defer that same management that we had, are we going to change our habits and make sure that we do that? Otherwise, buying another building, trying to get a better situation is like buying a house down the street that you thought was better, but you didn't do anything to it either. Right? So I want to know value now. Fixing it later, and what does it mean for costs later on?
Right. Very fair. This is the best way I can answer that right now, and admittedly, I won't be able to satisfy all of your question. The city has appraisers. They get the building appraised. Appraisal is a very funny thing because we all get houses appraised, and you sell one. Sometimes the market value is higher, sometimes the market value is lower. Appraisal is a guidance. When you invest this kind of capital into an asset, I can guarantee you that there's not another buyer out there that's like the city, so you won't get a dollar return on these kind of investments. This is about your value to your community and whether this is the right home for you. So even if you invest the $900 million, I can guarantee you there's not a buyer in the world that's gonna come pay you more than that for the building. That said, the appraised value is what it is. That's predicated, of course, on the condition of the building and on the value of the land and what could be done with it. Some of which you might like and some of which you might not like. So all very fair. I don't have the appraisal. That's not factored into my analysis. That was not my charge. And so I can't tell you what exactly the offset could be. But I can tell you, generally speaking, the value of commercial land is very high. So I could speculate, but it's a big number. So
I'm glad you said what you did, because you just valued that it was important for the community.
Yeah, 100%. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mike. Hey, I see everybody hands, so what we're doing, we're going just like this. I'm probably gonna hit everybody.
Thank you for allowing me to ask a question.
Yes, sir.
Here's the real deal about City Hall. It has leaked since day one.
Yes.
We studied it when I was in architecture. Nothing's changed. It was a high performance building now, it's still a high performance building. It's not gonna change. The real question about whether to stay here or move to some other place, the responsibility is going two ways that I see it. You put $1 billion into this building, tomorrow morning, when the city of Dallas wakes up, how are they gonna manage that? Right. Because it will start over again. Right. And that's it. The second thing is, if they move to another location, what's the deferred maintenance in those buildings that we don't know? Right. Yeah. And so it could be, we just move down the street, but still have deferred maintenance.
Absolutely, yep.
So it's a gaining thing.
Right. Well, you're talking thematically about appropriate management and doing your right due diligence before you do anything at all. Yes, so I'm lockstep with you. I can tell you, well, the numbers are up there. We simulated that if you do invest in the building, that you maintain it properly going forward. So that's in the $1 billion is the proper maintenance going forward. Policy-wise, you have to talk to your council members. I'm not going to be the one fixing the toilets. But
I understand that. But I guess what I'm saying is, terms like drilling and wall with a supporting place, precast buildings, that's not even realistic to happen there. Okay, there is asbestos in there. I don't disagree with you on that, but it's in places that most people may not understand where it is in this world. Right. And that's okay. But the fair assessment of this whole project is to try to find out what is the best for the city of Dallas. How are we gonna do this project? Whether we stay there or leave there. And if we do either one of them, there has to be a management tool that the city of Dallas is gonna have to understand, whether they stay there or move there, that they're gonna have to manage this property. By a high-rise building in downtown Dallas, it's still another nightmare. It's still another nightmare to maintain. So, I guess what we're trying to get here for me, we're trying to get down. The numbers are too large to really analyze what we're trying to do here. It's just a big number that everyone throws out, but it's not really getting down to the meats and potatoes of how this project is going to move forward.
So, in terms of process, I've been engaged in a lot of these projects over the years. This is your directional analysis, your first step. Right. The council authorized additional steps for further exploration. They also advised and prepared the resolution directive to continue other work that had to be done. So I don't think the analysis is finalized. It's just, this is the first step, and there are other steps that have to happen. I agree with your sentiment. If you're going to do anything at all, you have to know what you're getting into. I haven't done due diligence on every single asset. I can only take the information I have and prepare it and present it.
But I guess what I'm trying to say, our council person has had all these individuals come to this room because they have a vested interest. But when we leave here, we don't have a voice anymore. Some kind of way, we need to see how this process is going to affect our dollars, because we all got to pay for it. And if we can't see it, it's kind of hard to quantify that large number. At least it is for me. Now, I understand what you're saying. I got that. I understand the process. I've worked with some of the people that are on your group that probably call them by names. That's not a problem, and I know their reputation. But for the person who's trying to look at that, trying to analyze this number and make it work in the head, there's not enough data here to help us to do that. It's just not enough. and say that people are going to look at other structures right now, it's really kind of premature.
Yeah.
It's because we haven't even made a decision on what we're gonna do with this again. But we already said that we want to go look at something else, maybe because it's shiny, but it may not work.
Well, I can tell you this, I think your feedback is very fair. You know, we're given a scope and told to do the scope, we finish our scope. There's a lot of work that has to be done in all scenarios. So what I requested from council was per our professional opinion about where you all are at in the market, and the recommendation was keep moving forward incrementally. You need more information, allow us to get more information for you, create additional scope for services that are needed. That's what Mr. Gibson and Ms. Tolbert are working on, is additional work that has to be done for due diligence to get you all the information. So I feel that all of your sentiment is very fair, and I think that's feedback you want to give to the council member.
Okay, but here, I'm gonna leave you with this and I'll show you.
Yes, sir.
Why can't we have some type of citizen task to see what you all are doing so that we can disseminate this information to the group so that we can come to a better decision when we meet here instead of coming top, bringing it down, is we need to bring it bottom up to the top. And so we need sometimes it doesn't have to be an elaborate task force that can work with this group to see what's going on. And we don't need all the experts in the room. Some of these individuals in this room have very much knowledge just simply by listening and learning what others are doing. They can ask some very intelligent questions. And then you're gonna need some experts to kind of push this through. But the way this is going right now is not looking good with me. He's over there, he's here.
And so, Mike, let me say this. Once we get, because they got to bring the information back to the council. And once I get the information, I promise you that I'm gonna bring everything that I get to the community. And you know this because I call you because I know your expertise. When I don't understand something, I reach out to the expertise that's in District 4 to help me understand. I have no problem doing that. So I can tell you this, once I get the information, I'm going to bring that. And then I will also ask the city manager if she supportive of having some kind of community citizen task force that she can speak to and speak with from all of our districts representatives, so they can reach out. I have no problem doing that.
I guess what I'm saying is, I hear you, but I guess what I'm trying to get at, Max, is we're trying to get it to the ground level so that we can bring the project up. We're still taking it top down to it. If the city manager's coming out, all she's doing is regurgitating what somebody else is giving her the information. We still not gonna know the details of this project. And these numbers are still gonna be too exaggerated, where it's gonna be like a shell shock. So some kind of way we gotta get in the ground level and see what they're doing. We're not trying to micromanage them, we're just trying to understand what they're doing.
Absolutely, absolutely, that's fair.
Okay.
And I again, I'm 1 out of 15, but I would definitely go bring this back to our city manager and get her input on that and see what we do. I see your hand, then I'm going to you. Yeah, you're in the back. We coming just like this, y'all. I'm coming from the back and come all the way to the front. Okay. So he has about 15 minutes. So we still gonna move it around. I promise you. Let's go. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Couple of things. I'm trying to get my head around the fact that there was an analysis done a few years back, I think maybe when Laura Miller was mayor, and they came back with $19 million to fix City Hall, and now it's almost $1 billion. And I'm trying to get my head around, why would it jump from 19 to $1 billion? And my question to you is, are there any projects, construction items in the $1 billion proposal that were not in as a part of the $19 million one? So my question is, are there any extra improvements and so forth that was added in to make this jump from 19 million to?
Ma'am, I love the question. Unfortunately, I have no information about the 19, and so I can't even begin to speculate.
So somebody needs
I think,
to hold
yeah, I
that
think
hold.
talk to the council member about the history of that. But I hear you.
I can tell you this, and then we're going to you. I can say this, that 5 years ago, I was on the city council, 6 years ago. So, what it took to build, Roosevelt, $64 million is what we gave to Roosevelt. If I did that project now, it would be extremely high.
Exactly.
It cost me to build Pinkston High School, $89 to $90 million high school. Years later, probably 4 years later, if I'm three, something like that, it cost me to build John Lewis Social Justice Academy at O.W. Homes on Keats right at $100 million with material and everything. And then especially when COVID came, everything shot up. So that's what you're looking at. So that's probably, you talking about Laura Mill, I don't know how long ago was that. And then, Miss Mayor Miller, I'm not saying that you are, I'm just saying that it's been a long time. So she's saying,
I don't know exactly what you're.
I got you. I see your hand, and I'm coming to you. Yes, sir.
Since we started with Laura Miller, I just want to say that she was here way back in 2007, and she's also largely known for losing all the major sports organizations in the city. So, I just want to start, and this may be a question for the assistant city manager. How does a city government make revenue? Like, how do they pull in money so they can have a budget to provide for sales tax and property? So sales tax and property tax. So what property tax or taxable revenue do we make on City Hall today?
Zero.
And why is that?
Because of government entity, we don't pay taxes to ourselves.
So to be specific, we're about to sink almost $1 billion into an asset that does not produce any income.
No, so the only thing they said here is for people's time.
So, and understandably, so now if we put something there that's like a mixed-use development that maybe is taxable in the billions of dollars, and we are able to net billions of dollars over the next 20 to 30 years, that adds money to our budget, correct?
Correct. That's part of the debate. Yes, sir.
So right now, the real debate here that nobody's talking about here or at City Hall is that we can either spend $1 billion or we can move City Hall and make billions of dollars.
You have no.
I mean, that's complaining, but I'm just looking theoretically at what we have in City Hall. We know right now it produces no taxable income. That's a fact. We may not like it.
Hold on. Everybody has the floor. He has the floor. He let him make his statement, because then I'm going to this young man who's been waiting. Okay, go ahead.
So I just want to make sure we lay that out.
Because he only has 10 more minutes, so I want to get move kind of fast. Yes, sir. What's your question?
So my question is, right now, we're really deciding between sinking $1 billion into an asset or actually potentially making billions of dollars if we put something that is actually going to produce taxable income.
City Hall.
Correct. Okay, that's
Yes, sir. Right here. Okay. You was next.
$1 billion building, sure that's gonna affect us tax-wise. I mean, that's what I would want to know. Bond programs, alluded to when you first talked about, it's eventually gonna cost us. Now, I mean, just,
I just
figuratively speaking. Okay, this is all good, third floor, whatever, but really what's more important, I think, for this group here is what's gonna happen to our city council district. I mean, I think when we first met, you were talking about developing, north of Keys Park, turning that into some high-rise development. I think we've been concerned with some of the older houses being torn down and possibly be redesigned. Things that are gonna affect our tax base locally. Whatever you guys gonna do, City Hall is gonna do. Okay?
Yes, what?
So my question is, talk to me about what's new that's gonna happen in our district.
What's question?
Let's bring it home. Politics is local.
Right.
Talk about that.
So this is away from City Hall.
That's the rules.
Yeah. So I don't know if I said I was going to build something north. I don't remember.
Well, there's been some discussion.
Probably the hospital, right?
Yeah, hospital.
What hospital?
What's happening? What's
Oh, you're talking about the Hamilton? Okay, that's in District 3. Okay. Yeah, because I just want to make sure, because you said I said something about the hospital. Yeah, that's in District 3. So I think that we approved, was it some high rise or something that's going in District 3 with the high rise with the old Hamilton Hospital?
So That's very, that's.
That's not City Hall,
Well, right, well, no, that's sticky because we're in the midst of negotiating with somebody for the sale of that property, and we can't disclose.
Okay, I got you. Okay, let me ask you a question. What I have been doing, hold on, he asked the questions. So what I've been doing in District 4, and I've been sending newsletters, if you see across, I'm just giving you an example tonight. If you see across the parking lot, you have a gas station that don't have no gas pumps. A car wash that don't have no pumps, but they've been selling dope like crazy. What I've been doing is going around our community, we got Thursday and Fridays, and I've been working, not me, our staff, along with the city, cleaning up District 4 and making it safe. That's what I've been doing, because you guys told me we need to clean District 4, so that's what I've been doing. Now, the reason why that's important is we can't get economic growth, that economic development that creates growth, if we still have convenience stores that's gambling and not selling food. And if you go look, if you go look, I got a Family Dollar right here, the gas station that said they was a store, that's 2. I got a convenience store saying that's a store, that's 3. I got another convenience store right on the corner, that's 4. Then I got this guy over here saying he's a convenience store, that's 5 grocery stores next door to each other. And then they're gonna build, I think, a grocery store or something right here on Meat Market. So those are the things that I'm saying that's not gonna help District 4 grow if you just keep putting convenience stores and gas stations on top of each other. That's gonna create more crime, more prostitution, if you go on over to Illinois, you have an Exxon and a Mobil. Go right down to the next red light, you got a Valero gas station being built and a Chevron trying to be built right in front of the Valero gas station. That's the things that I've been fighting. If you follow me on my Facebook, I'm placing it on the Facebook so y'all can see me in the streets advocating. He would tell you, I'm going fed on emails and going hard on city staff respectfully, because we are tired of that kind of crap over here. And so that's what I'm doing. To answer your question, that's what I'm doing. And I can't do it by myself. And I said, if they won't listen to me, I just told our president, I said, I'm gonna ask everybody from District 4 to come down there. We're gonna pack that place out like a Baptist convention and let everybody come talk and support what Councilman Johnson is trying to do to clean up District 4. So that's what I'm doing. Any more questions for him? Because he got to get back to Austin. So he has 5 more minutes. So hold on.
Is resiliency built into your plan? Meaning like 311, if it moves out, can it be built on the south side, in southern Dallas, to accommodate the relocation until the building is repaired? Because it only takes about 18 months to build. So is a resiliency plan in place to accommodate 911 and 311 and those services in the southern area? Because a building can be built in anywhere from 12 to 18 months.
Right. I think the best way to answer your question right now is that, thematically, council is asking us to do more work and the broader team to do more work. We're saying the information is incomplete, and there are some things like that are still under development. The overall tactical execution plan is a lot easier to develop when you have better information. So we have some things in place. We're exploring certain things at the council's directive to make sure that all those things are perfectly in place. You obviously can't execute a plan of this magnitude if you've got, big loose ends. So loud and clear, and that's under development. It's not complete yet, and it needs more work.
So I'm going here. I think I saw her hand, and then right here, and then over here to Ronnie. Got it. And I saw a real hand too. So we're going just like that. Yes, sir.
The only thing I'm saying, are you aware? I heard him talking about Keith Court. I used to go to that hospital. That's a huge hospital. City paid $6 million for it. I used to go for it. I know how long it's been vacant. I go by there all the time. It is huge and it's nice. Move the city in there. They bought it for $6 million.
It's not big though. City Hall. And let me say, City Hall. City Hall is 900,000. City Hall is 900. 200,000 square foot, right? Am I correct?
Yeah, it's.
I don't even think that's close to that, so we can't go there. I understand, but we can't go there. I'm gonna go right here.
I had kind of a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
I heard you mention the records building. How much did it cost to flip that?
Flipping that, was.
What's the square foot?
It's 300,000 feet, and it was $300 million. So,
It's pretty.
it is pretty, it's a great building. I mean, it was total gut job, start from scratch, building within a building. So it was 300,000 feet, $300 million. City Hall, 900,000 square feet, $900 million. So it's about the same. So it's not, and that was done in 2019. So they moved out for how many years? 9 years. Yeah.
So, yes, ma'am.
I guess this is my, and I guess it's a couple of things. One of the things that historically we've done in Dallas is we knock things down to put up something new.
Yeah.
One of the former city council people, and I guess to kind of touch some of the things that Harrison was bringing up about what does the building make when we spend $2 billion? Well, we can start right down at the Omni, because the Omni is upside down. So, and the city owes more than what that building is now worth. And that's the taxpayers' own hotel. So I think we have to, Don Hill once said that the way, and he worked under Laura Miller, he was the mayor pro tem. But one of the things he always said is Dallas has a way of putting tourniquets on one building to move to the next building, and then they say, oh, we need to go do this, and so they just always bounce the tourniquet. If we're going to do it, and I think with the city council, with Maxie Johnson and Lori Blair, who are the two city council people that are now around the horseshoe, their first term, it is my hope that somebody can give us a plan, maybe if they get the Citizens Task Force together, and they're able to say, this is what CBRE is doing. If we're gonna spend $1 billion to fix it, then possibly the two city council people can work on making sure, I don't know if we said with CBRE, who is the consultant on this now, what is the plan moving forward? Because Dallas has too many buildings that we currently own that are in disrepair.
Yeah.
And so we keep saying we don't have enough money. We don't have enough money. So if we can possibly get with CBRE to figure out what a task force looks like for this $1 billion, to be stewards of this $1 billion, so that we can start a new thumbprint. Because you two are new city council people, and maybe we can start doing things a new way. And I think that's gonna make us happy, and just like Mr. White's saying, we see how things are deteriorating.
Yes.
And we don't take good care of it. It goes back to what he said. So Harrison, we built a hotel that we're upside down. But we're upside down on a hotel that we own. And the bond money that we got for that hotel, we owe the bond, but I guess you would say our city council pushed that we needed to build a hotel because the convention center couldn't do anything. And as Don Hill said, we'll put a tourniquet on the convention center. We're gonna build a hotel. And he said, trust me, Winston, once the hotel is built, we're gonna have to go build another convention center because the convention center can't do anything. And that's exactly what we're doing today. So we've got to, I just feel like we're doing these circles, and CBRE gets stuck with this thing of trying to figure it out. You guys are trying to figure out this thing. And I know you get a lot of heat because I watched everybody coming at you. I think it was more of the time because y'all been down there.
I was just hoping I would say something stupid.
Yeah, I can tell all y'all was stressing last Wednesday night. But it would be great if we could, before we start saying before we go to a point where we're trying to vote on it, Councilman Johnson and Councilman Blair, before we start voting on things, put it on fast track, maybe CBRE can also work to get a task force done. And just as Michael Brown is saying, Doris White is saying, we've seen it. See, now we're 60s. Back then, we were kids. Yeah, we've watched all this stuff go on all our lives in the city of Dallas. And maybe we can start fresh.
Well, I want to, I appreciate the question and the statement, the feeling about this. I can tell you, I really like the leadership team of the city right now. We were hired just last year, and Kim's directive to us was rip the Band-Aid off. We've done some bad deals. What do you think about them today? Unfortunately, real estate's not one of those things you can unwind quickly. And we generally agree with the sentiment from all the council members that there were a lot of bad deals done and need to unwind those. And they've asked us to look at the whole portfolio to think about the right way to manage real estate going forward. It's really easy in cities. I work with big cities all over the place to keep buying and accumulating and never know how to fix something or correct the portfolio size. So we're about 4 months into our contract. And we've done some of that work, but that is part of our charge going forward is to help Mr. Gibson and Ms. Tolbert and the team think about what should you own today. You can't really like fix the past of this stuff. You gotta look at it at a point in time. What do we own today? What is it worth? Should we have it? Why do we have it? Do we have any good reason to have it? Those are all the questions being asked. So I think if it's all right with you, I like city managers when they say rip the Band-Aid off and don't pull punches, and that's what she told us.
Yeah.
Don't pull punches.
So we have 3 more people. He has to
Oh my
get back to
God, it's been
Austin.
5 minutes
And
ago.
just let you know, he drove up here to Austin, got here right at 6:30. He had to go back to Austin. I think they on spring break with his family, something like that. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. So we got 3 questions, and then if we have more questions, myself and assistant city manager will try our best to answer. So we're gonna go with Mr. Ronnie, then we're gonna come back to Bill Bradshaw, then we're gonna come right here. Go ahead, Mr. Ronnie.
Just a quick question. I guess on the same thing, on your inspections, do y'all do a non-destructive inspection where you have any eye that you can see through the concrete and see what's in there? Do y'all do that kind of thing? I just saw my reminding you of some of the technology in there.
Yeah, so in this level of analysis, this was non-invasive. They did use some of that technology for certain aspects of it, but there are many other levels of analysis you can perform that are invasive and use different technologies. So, we're waiting for directive from the council to go do other levels of analysis if that's their
My question was, did you use that to see if there's a...
No, not yet.
Okay, so the second part is, how are we gonna pay? Well, I prefer for it to stay.
Yeah.
But whether it goes or stays, the bottom line is, we're gonna pay for it. It doesn't matter. The gentleman said something about saving $1 billion, we're still gonna pay. Whether it goes or stays, because property, future taxpayers are gonna pay for it.
Yep.
What's that? I'm West Down. He was our trustee on, the school board trustee. And you see West Dallas, and South Dallas. They have happened here in this area. So what has happened is West Dallas is gonna happen here. And you what it already has. Because we don't have a grocery store. They're gonna build coffee shops. You heard of Trinity Grove. They'll give you a little piece of pie. But in the meantime, $1.5 million homes are gonna go up by next year.
Yep.
$80,000 homes are gonna taxes. Because of taxes, not because you have to have the price of the product. This country, not a great thing. We're paying for it.
Exactly. I said real restaurant, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna just make a quick statement. Based on what Mr. Harrison was saying 2 minutes ago, and your statement also, the building, we're not really gaining anything from that building. That building's gonna cost us right at $1 billion.
Right.
Only to scrap that, sell it to these high-rise people, they popping up all over downtown Dallas anyway. We got land right here at East and 35. We got a lot of land over there in the Cedar Crest area and Paul Quinn area. Just start from scratch and build it.
I hear you. I'll tell you right now, I'm not ready to make that decision.
That's just my suggestion.
I respect everyone's opinion. That's why we have the town hall, so everybody is to say how they feel. That's how, I'm just telling you, I'm not ready to make that decision. Yes, sir.
We're good, Max.
I just want to, just a couple questions, and I'm gonna cap it off with, an answer to kind of what you said. How many veterans are here tonight? Any veterans?
veterans?
Yeah, veteran. I'm just veteran. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm 1, 5. Okay, so the thing is that she asked a question about, well, she said something about tourniquets, right?
Right.
Okay, so the veterans give me know what I'm going to say. In the military, it didn't matter about what color, it didn't matter about whatever. It's about being together in a common goal.
Right.
So if you was a weak link in that chain, what they would do? Take that weak link, bring him over here or over here and straighten them out. Okay, and then if you don't get straightened out, then you will get put out. But I know that doesn't work well out here in the civilian world, but it should be like that. Okay, but the question that you say, the tourniquet and all that, is that when you're talking about that, I talked to my brother. He's a FedEx. I manage FedEx. He was asking a lot of times. I've been in the service 10 years. Y1 administration. Okay, that means a lot. I work for the COXO. I seen a lot of stuff come across my desk. Ran the office, showed you and all that. The thing, what I want to make to you guys is that what happens in the civilian world or in corporate, let me go corporate. I've done corporate too. I'm an IT manager. I'm a business owner. I own 2 radio stations. What I see in corporate America is that they create problems to resolve problems. So they ain't gonna tell you all that. But when you talk about kicking the can down the road, that can is being kicked because whoever kicking that can, they created that problem. But to create a problem, watch this, to create a problem that generates money. Yeah, so in other words, all this time, we're going to kick it down the road. And just kick it down the road. Yeah, why we kick it down the road? We don't want to resolve the problem right now. We want this thing to get so big, but it's already generating money, because we need that money to come so we can fix it. And the person who did that, then he gets the credit because he's going to fix it. So now you kind of understand why things are happening in City Hall. Not everybody's like that, but people are scared, like Maxie said, it's my guy right here. You know, I support him as a veteran and as a business owner. He's been here 6, 7 months, and he's been doing a great job. Not just him, just like, hey, but they need people like Mackie and the lady left here to be on the council to be able to make change. Right. But if you don't vote for them, then you ain't gonna get what you're looking for. But as the point is made is that it's a new day, it's an old dog, but it's a new day. That's right.
I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. And I know we went over. We always go over. Y'all know that. But I want to respect his time because, again, I know what that drive's like to come down here and have do a turnaround themselves. But I want to thank, I think you were CBRE, correct? Okay. I gotta make sure. Thank Mr. Peter with CBRE for coming and answering our questions. Thank you, District 4, for coming out. And I know some people get frustrated. You can go ahead. Thank you so much. Let's give him a hand, y'all.